It is officially time to give Mr. Tom Fitzgerald his flowers. Fitz has had quite the summer so far for the New Jersey Devils, and I was waiting till the last piece before I had made this video, and that's with today's Timo news. And so let's just go into the summer of Fitz. He's been quite active, and he's been making moves. He's been making moves, baby. This team is locked and loaded for the next 6 to 8 years. I have no worries. I'm honestly in shock at what he's been able to do. But let's start at the beginning. June 4th, Severson was going to be gone anyway. It's unfortunate. I like Damon Severson. He spent his whole career here, and he played on some really terrible teams. And it's a shame that he's not going to be around for the full upswing of the franchise. He got his big deal, so we did a sign and trade. He gets sent to Columbus. And we get a free third-round pick, right? You're like, oh, a third-round pick, what's the big deal? Well, picks, stockpiling picks for the cupboard is never a bad thing. And in this case, Damon was going to leave anyway on July 1st. So we were able to do a sign-and-trade, send him off to Columbus, and get a third-round pick essentially for absolutely nothing. He was gone anyway, a free third-round pick. Then we fast-forward a week later, June 10th. Jesper Bratt, one of the big question marks, is he going to sign, is he not? They've been trying to do this for a couple years. Nothing can get done. His agent supposedly is very difficult to deal with. Jesper showed himself during the regular season. He had a pretty good year. Across the board, for a lot of the forwards, it was an underwhelming playoff. But, we get Jesper signed 8 years, $63 million at a cap hit of 7.875. So a little more than I would have liked. But in the end, everyone had to know the number was going to be somewhere hovering close to that $8 million mark. And that's what it takes to retain, top talent. So, homegrown guy, we were able to get it done. He's going to be here as part of the nucleus for the next 8 years. Glad to see that happen. And then, a character, more depth guy. Another week later, on the 18th, erikhaula gets signed for a $9.45 million contract, cap hit of 3.15. So, love erikhaula. He really stepped up late in the season and in the playoffs. Love what Haula brings. He brings a little grittiness, a little veteran presence in the room and on the ice. At the end of the playoffs in the season-ending interviews, he had mentioned that he loves it here and wants to stay. So that seemed like that was a foregone conclusion, and Fitz got that done. So then we have Haula. And now, what is arguably one of the bigger heist in a long time, and I was honestly shocked. Fitz gets on the phone with Calgary and brings Tyler Toffoli here, a guy who scored 73 points last year off of 34 goals, 39 assists, 73 points, nearly a point a game guy, and we get him in exchange for Sharon Govich and that free third-round pick we got from Columbus with the sign and trade with Severson. This is highway robbery. Quite honestly, it might be the biggest robbery probably since the infamous 1-for-1, since Larson for Hall. And, Hall did win a Hart Trophy as most valuable player. He dragged us single-handedly to the playoffs. But in the end, you look back and, what did it really mean in the grand scheme of things? Not a whole lot. He got us to the playoffs and we got killed by Tampa. This is an unbelievable trade. Sharon Govich, one of our depth players, I always thought he was a little bit underutilized, and he could have shown more potential with more minutes with better line mates, and he's had chances here and there. But in the end, it seemed like he was going to be a casualty of our extreme depth at the forward position. I didn't think he was going to be back for next year. So what do? We trade Sharon Govich and a free third-round pick that we had just got from Columbus and get Tyler Toffoli. I don't know. If I was a Flames fan, I'd be extremely livid at this. I mean, I would have expected a much bigger return, but as a Devils fan, this is super exciting. Fitz brings in a top 6 forward for practically pennies. I mean, Sharon Govich, unfortunately, was going to be on his way out regardless. And now we have our top 6 is just absolutely filthy. And I'd argue if it's not the best top 6 in the league, it's certainly right up there with a couple other teams. You're talking about Bratt, Jack, Nico, Dawson Mercer, Timo, Tyler Toffoli. I mean, this is... what we're going to see this year is going to be unbelievable. I think we're going to have a great year. And Toffoli for pennies on the dollar, an absolute masterclass in being an NHL GM by Fitz. one of his many moves on the summer. And then to top it off, the one I was waiting for, today it comes out, Timo Meier, 8 years, $70.4 million with a cap hit of 8.8. Love Timo, had to have him back. Obviously, the goal when we traded for him last year was to get him signed up long term. And, we've heard rumors that a deal was closed, blah, blah, blah. Again, it would have been really sweet to get him for a hair less. But in the end, anything under $9 million for Timo Meier is below market. I mean, if he was an unrestricted free agent, I'd imagine some team would probably throw 9.5 or even maybe a little more at him to get him there. The cherry on the sundae, as they say. Timo Meier, long-term, 8-year deal, will be a New Jersey Devil, and it's time to give Fitzy his flowers. I doubted him for a couple of years there during the what seemed like a perpetual rebuild, but he has shown that he did have a plan. He's stuck to it. Jack became a megastar. Unbelievable talent. Nico has been stepping his game up, and there's nothing more to say. I was wrong about Fitz. He's exceeded all my expectations. We have an amazing team on paper, and we showed a great improvement last season. This year, I expect big things. I'm more of a hard liquor guy, Casamigos or Jack Daniels, than the champagne. But this one goes out to Tom Fitzgerald. Fitz, you've had quite the summer, my friend. And all Devils fans, thank you. This goes out to Fitz. Spilling it over myself, I'm a mess. Quite the offseason. Very exciting stuff. And I will say, I'm not sure about the whole pending Connor Hellebuck thing. But if somehow we do get Connor Hellebuck, this would, make it from an amazing offseason to maybe an all-time historic performance of an offseason. I think that would be, that may be a different video for another time. But Fitz, thank you from all Devils fans. It's been quite the summer. Our core is intact. We will be cup contenders for the next 8 years or so. And we have you to thank. Fitz, this goes out to you. As always, let's go Devils. Until next time, friends.